Somebody might have lots of skills about a certain subject, but it is not necessary that he has the knowledge about that particular subject. Knowledge is something different than skill. As shown in the diagram, you now know in terms of a visual concept that knowledge means that some kind of shape or structure is derived from the information that we perceive. Of course, that shape has to be drawn using the skills that we learned in the second box. Also, we understood that knowledge means the ability to differentiate between information that is more important than others. Let's start with the language. When the people are talking in the streets and they are talking in the homes, we are able to understand that information. But we needed the skill at first, even just to understand by listening. Then later on, we learned the skills to read the letters, compose words, then to understand those words, we learned the skills of grammar, syntax. Then we were able to make a sentence. So now we have the skill of writing a language. Now, knowledge rises above that particular skill, and it is the ability to know what to do with the skill of writing. You can write a letter, a diary, an essay, a story, a report. In this way, you learned how to use that particular skill to achieve a goal. If we take the example of mathematics, the information that we are able to perceive is the number of objects that we see. Then the skill is counting them, adding, subtracting, and so on. But the knowledge is the ability to find a pattern that there could be odd and even numbers, that after reaching 10 we could repeat it again for higher numbers, making it 11, then 21, and so on. Then this led to develop the knowledge of the relationships between various parameters, like a is equal to b plus 5. Then this knowledge later on becomes a skill. Now we know how to find out the value from an equation, which is nothing more than a relationship between various parameters. We can observe a triangle, that is information, but then we need the knowledge that all the angles of any triangle add up to the same number, which we have agreed to be 180 degrees. Now, this is knowledge. From this, skills are derived to find out the height of a tower from a distance using visual aids to measure the angle of observation. Sometimes we need to make sense of the information that is in front of us. And then we know that we need to be able to compare that information. So we have derived the concept of a single frame of reference using percentage in case of mathematics. Now that is knowledge. Then learning how to derive that percentage is a skill. The sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, are full of this triad between information, skill, and knowledge. Paramount is knowledge, of course, from which various skills are derived to increase more the knowledge. And all this is to make sense of that information that we perceive. In the earlier days of Greek philosophy, the knowledge was that the Earth was the center of the universe. Then they developed skills around that knowledge to calculate when the full moon will occur, when there will be an eclipse. The information in the form of the actual full moon and the eclipse corroborated with that skill. And so the knowledge that the sun revolved around the earth, like every other celestial object, was believed to be true. Later on, the paradigm shifted, and the knowledge became that the sun is the center, and the earth rotates around it. Then new sets of skills were developed to calculate the same full moon and eclipse, and the results also corroborated. However, the later theory was able to explain more of the information that we got accurately and make predictions, and so it became the accepted knowledge. Now, when we are able to go to space and actually physically see, it's quite obvious that this theory is true. So, knowledge is about finding out what is true and what is false using the various skills that are available to us at that time. Then, based on that knowledge, new skills are developed, which further leads to more knowledge to be uncovered. All this leads to more information to be revealed. In this way, we can say learning never ends. Somebody with strong knowledge is able to look at a set of information and just say that you can ignore everything, and you have to focus on this particular one information that is best observed at the doctor's clinic. We can give that doctor so many symptoms that we are suffering from, but the knowledgeable doctor will be able to zero in to a particular symptom that is the actual root cause of all the other symptoms, and that is knowledge. That knowledge was derived, of course, from lots of skills that the doctor had honed over decades. Having knowledge is about the ability to see the big picture. Why is it that information one doesn't behave the way we thought it should? What is the effect when information 2 hits information 3? So, when you develop this capacity of knowledge, you are able to see the interrelationship, the interconnection, and the big picture between the various informations. Also, what is the relationship between skill 1 and skill 2? Which skill can be omitted and which skill must be mastered anyhow, no matter how difficult it is. These are the traits of knowledge. I'll illustrate with an example the above paragraph. Let's take the subject of accounts, which we'll discuss more in detail when the chapter comes. In the big picture, accounts is to be able to keep track of transactions. In order to do that, we will need some ways to display the information of the transactions that would take form of reports. These reports would be the product of various data that we accumulate. By understanding the data and the reports that they give, we should be able to understand whether our transactions are in the right track or the wrong track. So that would be the big picture. Then we would need to have the knowledge between the various components of the report and how they interrelate to one another. There might be thousands of numbers. We need to know which of them are the most important. Which value can be omitted? Is it the expense we incurred for a cup of coffee? Or is it the liability we took on to buy the new machine? So, all this knowledge will take a lot of time to develop. As you can see in the diagram, it's all about the information, the skills, and making sense of all that. I know I have been quite enigmatic in my writing in this section, but it will get easier and more clear as we move further into the depth of this book. I had to lay the foundation for the four brain learning approach. In short, this might appear to you like reading the theorems of a math book, but please bear with me. Now we come to the final box. You might be tempted to think that knowledge is the end of learning. However, for the lack of a better word, I have chosen the next level of learning or education to be wisdom. If you Google that word, it will give another definition than the one I'm going to give you. But you have to remember that I'm doing the best to explain my own findings. As I've been telling you many times, these are just postulates or hypotheses that I believe someone who reads this book, like you, will do further investigation and come up with stronger knowledge on the same subject. So, what I'm actually doing is I'm using this wisdom part of learning in this book. Knowledge is all about what is true and what is false. That can be found out only if you know how to observe that information because you have the skills at that particular time. However, there are many situations when there is no way to have any kind of knowledge about a certain problem, and yet we are receiving information that there is that kind of problem. So, having no way to understand that information and no skills, consequently, we need wise men. They will be able to use the knowledge from various fields to make an interpretation of the new observed information that mostly will be counterintuitive to the knowledge gained so far. So that one will be either right or wrong. The doctor analogy will be very easy to understand this concept of wisdom. So the good doctor knows that the symptoms or inflammation is caused by a certain virus or bacteria. He will also have the skills to either prescribe a particular medicine or make a surgery. However, a wise doctor would be one who can transcend the conventional knowledge and give a unique advice on how the patient can make some small changes in his lifestyle to treat the root cause of the disease. He might bring that knowledge from other fields and his own experience, which at that time might not be part of the conventional knowledge. Slowly, over time, this wisdom will become knowledge, and skills will be developed around that new knowledge. For example, in the mid 20th century, a doctor showed wisdom when he said that people in his hospital were dying because the doctors didn't wash their hands between operations. Now, of course, for us today, this is knowledge that germs, bacteria, virus get transmitted by tagging along the nails, skin of the doctors between patients. So the doctors have got to either wash their hands with detergents to kill the germs, or they should wear gloves and change them for every new operation. But at this particular doctor's time, this was not conventional knowledge. We can say that our wise doctor had an epiphany. Without going into the history of this particular case, study and history itself of medicine, all I want to tell is whatever knowledge that we have today was the postulates provided by some wise people in the past. They were able to combine the knowledge from various unrelated subjects to find a solution to the current problem that they were facing. Such wisdom is found in every subject, from mathematics to economics to politics. The difference between a crazy person and a wise person is that the later one comes from a strong knowledge base and extensive skills in relevant subjects. A crazy person can come up with unique ideas, but he will not have the base knowledge required to take it further. Also, wisdom is the ability to reorganize the existing knowledge and add more information to it so as to create new knowledge. In my model, the PhDs are the wise people, and the highly knowledgeable people are those who do the master's degree. Then the skilled people are those who have the bachelor's degree, if not at least the intermediate degree. Then those who don't have an education are those who are helpless when they are bombarded with information. They have no clue whether it's related to any particular subject like mathematics or physics or English even. Charles Darwin was a very wise person based on this model because he was able to come up with new knowledge. History is filled with wise men, and they are mostly considered the fathers of their fields. The epitome of education should be for us to be wise people. We should be able to use that information that is available to us till now to the extent that it is useful. Then we should be able to toss it away because we have found new knowledge by combining the other fields with that particular knowledge. Today, we might not be surprised to hear the words biochemistry, economic psychology, the Tao of physics, artificial intelligence. However, in the earlier times, they were all breakthroughs and the work of wisdom. I want to end this section on wisdom with the example of a doctor who gave a great advice to my wife using his wisdom. This doctor is our family GP or general practitioner. So my wife goes to him very often because she gets sick a lot, especially related to gastritis. At one point, she had some infections, but somehow, even after taking the medicines, the symptoms would linger. So, as per the doctor's professional knowledge, he gave all the medicines, did all the tests. Another common knowledge in the medical profession is that stress must be decreased. Again, this was once a new form of knowledge that combined spiritual sciences with medical science. However, in that last visit, he went a step further in the wisdom department. He combined his advice on the knowledge of sports, I think, or I don't know where you got this knowledge from, because it made total sense. He advised her that she should take less stress and do more relaxing exercise. His knowledge was that the stress caused the muscle to tense up, and that in turn caused the formation of stress hormones and acids that cause gastritis. The medicines would only neutralize those acids, but in order to stop the root cause, she should just learn to relax her muscles, and that would be done by managing her stress as well as doing some exercises. Now, this was so insightful, and that's what wisdom is all about. This insight was so revealing because for so many years she had just been taking those meds and trying to reduce her stress. However, now we had the missing connection between stress and gastritis. It will take a long time for science to develop the skills through experiments so that this postulate or hypothesis might be proved to be true or false. But for now, it seemed so right. And the earlier concept that it was only about stress seemed false. And that it was due to some external genetic factor was totally false. And certainly not about the weather. That was totally false, for sure. Of course, all these factors might have had a contributing factor, but our GP was right on with this insight. The contraction of the muscle because of the stress created those acids. Of course, the stress was due to work pressure, colleagues, but prior to this revelation, we were unknown on how to solve this problem and what to do about the stress alone. But now that we had a new parameter, that is the muscles, it became much easier. So, devised based on this new knowledge or wisdom or insight, the solution for my wife's gastritis. She still takes her meds, but now I have advised her to put a green plant in her office because she loves gardening, to remind her about having not to take too much stress at work. Then she would be doing some breathing exercises to relax the muscles of the stomach. In this way, an insight has created a new set of behaviors. So this was an example of what wisdom is. Now let's combine all those four components.